to another episode of The Proud Skill Worker. Today we have an opportunity to talk with Austin. Austin, thanks so much for being on the show today. Tell us a little bit about yourself, sir.
Working for you guys a little over 2 years now. I've been working in the trades for about 6 years myself. It's from Michigan, working out here in Massachusetts now.
Okay. Where up in Massachusetts are you located?
Currently, I'm in Springfield, but I'm working in Northampton.
Okay. And how's that experience up there been? Kind of coming from Michigan, going to Massachusetts. Maybe you've been there before, but culture shock, changing anything? What do you think the big change was?
Not really a huge change for me. Like I said, I've been actually traveling for 5 years now for maintenance itself. It's been pretty good. I can't really complain about anything here in Northampton itself. So good culture out here in this area.
I love it. So for Austin, for yourself, and for everybody listening today, we're going to kick off a little bit of a mini series here with the Proud Skill Workers. So we're going to have a conversation with Austin today about the most important skills in maintenance. We're going to run this through probably the next maybe 5 or 6 months as we get into some of these other skills. And then coming in the last quarter of the year, so it's kicking off in October, we're going to take Austin's feedback and the feedback of everybody who watches the show or writes into the show, and we're going to launch like a 2024 improvement program based on the skills that we talked about today. So Austin, before we jump into kind of what you feel are the 3 most important skills in maintenance and then why those matter and how did you end up getting into the trades, and then tell us your story about, where you started, how you got there, and then how you ended up in, Northampton, Massachusetts?
So I started off in manufacturing as a production welder. Small town, really only one factory to go to. So we were making automotive exhaust for the big 3, Ford, Chrysler, GM. And one of those that as I was working there, things would break down, guys would come over to fix it, and I'd be looking over their shoulders, seeing how things worked, and slowly just was like, hey, I can do that. So started working my way up, which got me into automation, working with robots and everything, and then just started hitting the road, traveling, and then reached out to Skillwork eventually, or actually got referred to Skillwork by my cousin, and then been traveling with you guys and made it out this way.
And so kudos to your cousin for referring you. So I'll just go ahead and drop a little thank you to him here. Since you've been on the road with us, what have been some of the biggest challenges that you've faced?
The biggest challenge for me has probably been just being lonely. Loneliness kind of creeping in, settling in. It's one of those things that being out on the road, it's part of being out on the road. Just unfortunately, it's one thing you have to deal with. And I have a smaller family, so it's not like I had a huge family that was like a big shock from going to brothers and sisters every day to just myself. So I'd say that was definitely the hardest challenge to overcome.
Yeah, I don't think people realize how much they lean on their family and their close friends until they get that moment where they just don't have that, and so they gotta build it, right?
Yeah. And that's exactly it. Just building it, being out on the road, working with other skill workers itself. There's only been one contract I've had where I was the only person there. Everyone else or every other contract I've had at least one other person to kind of rely on in a similar situation. And we've built kind of a brotherhood that way.
That's right. What a cool way to kind of embrace the change together.
Yeah, for sure.
So as you've kind of traveled around and as you got started in Michigan, what's been the most exciting part of your career, Austin?
Most exciting part, just being able with the opportunities that Skillwork has had to travel the country and get paid to see it. It's one of those things that I love to travel, so it's one perk there, and then just stay there for 3 months or 6 months, and then, okay, I'm ready to move to another place.
I love it. So as you've been through all these different facilities, so you've been with Skillwork now 2 years, you said, previously before that, how many different facilities have you been in? You don't have to name companies or anything, but just like bulk of facilities, how many?
Bulk of facilities, about 6.
Okay. So in 6 different facilities, that's a pretty good sample size, so I think we'll be able to talk through this. What do you think have been the most important skills on the maintenance team in those 6 facilities that you've seen either yourself have or people have, or maybe that's lacking? I mean, what's the skill that you go, man, if everybody had these three, they'd be doing great?
The biggest one is just being able to troubleshoot. Troubleshooting is 99% of our job. And then if you know the machine or know each, I will say, characteristic of the machine, that will help you troubleshoot faster. And then just the second one, I'd say, would just be the ability to do the job. A lot of guys are starting to get older, joints are getting harder to move. It's hard to get into some of these awkward positions to work on equipment.
Mm-hmm.
And just the last one is just, I really couldn't say what number 3 would be for it. The mindset, really. This has to get done. So get in there, get it done. Not, okay, this line's down, but it's lunchtime, so I'll be back. That's not always the case.
Yep. So that's interesting. It's kind of a three-pronged approach that you took. And I know I asked you for 3, so you didn't really have a choice. You could have stopped, but you went with ability, so troubleshooting ability.
Yep.
And then you went with a physical approach, so you have to be physically able to do it. And then you went with a mental approach. You have to be willing to kind of grind through and do those things. And, all 3 of those at some level tie in together, right? If you're not physically able to troubleshoot, if you're not mentally able to troubleshoot, you're in trouble. If you're not physically able to do something that you know how to do, still not a whole lot of value. So as you look through these environments, why do you think those matter the most? I mean, I know you kind of hit on them a little bit, but why do you think that those are just the most important things?
Just because each facility is a little bit different. So whether or not it's working on the same machine, which obviously it won't be working across different facilities, it's one of those that you kind of have to take a broad approach. Okay, if this is the issue, what causes that issue? Or what changed from when it was running to now? Like, if an operator's in there and hits a button, what button do they hit?
Yeah, I think that as you talk about this, becoming specialized in one individual piece of machinery or one individual type of maintenance is kind of a thing of the past. As the fourth industrial revolution kind of sneaks up on us and everything becomes more automated and the skill level grows, people need to understand and become probably more well-rounded. And then in order to do those things, you have to physically and mentally be able to, and then know how to troubleshoot. So if we're asking people to do those things, how do you learn those skills, Austin? How would you recommend somebody learn those skills?
Part of it is just persistence. Be right there and be at every breakdown. Whether or not you're the one doing the work, just be present and see how it gets fixed. If someone needs a hand and needs a tool, you're right there to hand it to them. You don't necessarily need to be the one in there turning the wrench. So just being there, learning how each machine works, whether or not it's working on it or just operating it, just seeing it run will help you.
And then on the mentality side of things, what's something that maybe somebody could do or an environment they could get into that would help strengthen kind of, the stressors of manufacturing are hard because if a line's down, there's more than one person politely asking you to fix it. But also the mentality of staying till the job's done. Talk to us a little bit, like, how do you adjust your mindset?
Well, other than the pressure of this needs to be done, it's just a matter of, I guess, take it, what's a sniper aneurysm or word there, but slow is smooth, smooth is fast. It's one of those that just take it nice and easy, work at one problem, fix that problem, and then move to the next problem. Just as you come across it, just work at what you know and just chip away at the big issue. And next thing you know, as long as you just keep working one issue, next issue, you'll get to the end and you're there. Just work on what you know, then ask for help if you don't know.
I think that's a really important approach because a lot of times in maintenance and in the world, if we're honest, people are trying to solve 15 or 20 problems at a time and 15 or 20 problems ahead, when in reality, if you just solve the one in front of you, the next one will come. And it's just much easier to manage the one little thing at a time.
Yeah.
It's great. So this is the part of the show, Austin, where I like to turn it over to you. If you've been a viewer on the show or if you've ever heard this show, you know that I do this every episode. So I'm going to turn it over to you. You're on a podium. You're on a platform. Everybody in the maintenance field gets to hear Austin. What is the one thing you would say to everybody?
Well, just if you have questions, ask. It's one of those things that the people there might know if you don't, and if you're newer, ask. It's pretty simple. It's one of those things that I have had plenty of questions and asked plenty of questions, sometimes too many questions, but it's one of those that you just be on the hunger for knowledge. Just keep going. I really can't say more than that. It's just one of those that just keep learning. The more you know, the better you are, whether it's with one machine or all machines.
Yeah, I think that's awesome to hear. This idea of being hungry for persistence or hungry for better kind of helps in every aspect of life, right? So whatever you want to do, just be hungry to be better at it.
Yeah.
Austin, thank you so much for today. Thank you so much for taking time to be with us. We had a little bit of technical difficulties, so Austin battled through that today, so I really appreciate that. And a huge thank you to everyone who's listening, everybody who likes and comments and follows and subscribes. Please continue to do so. Please reach out if you want to be a guest on the show, or if you have questions, maybe topics you want us to cover. Please feel free to reach out. Until next time, though, thank you, Austin, for being on Proud Skillworker, and thank you to everybody.